why did they feel the need to codify that? Like, this is how it's going to be.
I think the
Like,
codification.
what if it was a choice? Like, let's just leave it up to whatever you want to do. Either the man goes to the woman's house, if that's what they feels comfortable for, because that's what it's become. Society has come to a point right now where freedom is most important. Do what makes most sense for your relationship. Why was it so important to codify these things?
I think codification brings a certain kind of stability to the society. It also comes, when your property is handed down, it becomes easier to do that. So I think that's the reason codification was being done. It becomes, it's easy to litigate also when there is a law made in a certain way. Then, you're able to, because even in those days also there would be litigation, there would be courts where decisions would be made about who is right and who is wrong. So this seemed natural that, codification wasn't in the sense that you would be arrested if you went against it, I'm sure. But this is what they felt would be ideal for the traditions to continue, for the knowledge to be passed on from generation to generation. Let's remember that earlier we had home-based industries. Most of the work was home-based. So there would be, different professions, and they would all be conducted from the homes of people. So before the industrial revolution and the industrialized societies, this is how it functions. So if there is a profession like, say, a doctor's profession, a medical family, so the husband would be the doctor who would be taking, the patients would be coming in, and the wife would also be helping with the preparation of medicines. Children would be involved in different other things. Other family members also with collection of herbs and getting the herbs ready. So when all that happens, so it's important that the family lives together and conducts a profession in that way. So all these things must have come into consideration when it was codified. That the girl goes to the husband's house and then they live that way. They make sure that knowledge is preserved. They make sure that traditions are preserved. They make sure that the worship of the deities are done in a certain way, right? So it's best to just codify it that way and ensure that everything is preserved for posterity, rather than just having a free for all, where then you don't know who will do what, and would that lead to preservation of knowledge and preservation of those social structures?
Yeah, it seemed like the ancients wanted to, they were less concerned with individual liberties and focused more on how to continue society and what is best for making sure society continues, and the preservation of these family units is key to that.
Continues with what? Continues with traditions and knowledge.
Yes.
Knowledge transmission happens, traditions continue. The worship of the ancestors, worship of the deities, all these are done peacefully, harmoniously, correctly. All these things were considered in those days.
Yeah.
Right? So you preserve all these things. It was important to preserve. Individualism, you're right, was not very important.
Yeah.
The family was important and the community was important. And preserving knowledge was important. The profession, they didn't want any profession to die out.
Right.
Like, if there are not enough people with knowledge to continue that profession, then that profession will die out.
Yeah, but that even if the man moves to the woman's house, they would have to continue the profession of that woman's family. Say that was the norm. So I don't know if that's a very good
that
example.
also would be a good example. Why not? Knowledge to be preserved.
It's just, I think the reason why, so if the woman is at home, for instance, if she's at home, she's the one who passes on the culture and then the tradition to the next generation. So she'd be better able to absorb her husband's family's culture and pass it down.
The woman moving to the man's house has been a more stable structure, which has continued down the generations for thousands of years.
Yeah, and that standardization helps also the way they were tracking gotras. So if it was a free-for-all society, then you wouldn't be able to track that.
Gotra is, again, it's about the patrilineal or matrilineal.
And gotra is dependent on the Y chromosome as well.
Y chromosome.
So how do you, only the...
So the lineage would go along the Y chromosome. Yeah. That's why the birth of a son became important, and the son would carry the father's name forward.
Yes.
That is the way it became.
In fact, it's biological. It's not just the name forward. He's carrying the Y chromosome of his dad forward, and that Y chromosome belongs to his dad's dad. It's the continuation of the Y chromosome that's passing on from one generation.
That is the
to another.
Gotra. That is the logic
Gotra,
behind Gotra.
And so I think that could possibly be a reason for why it's the woman changing her Gotra to match the man's and not the other way around, where it's if the man moves to the woman's house, like it doesn't make sense for his Gotra to change.